This actual play is intended for mature audiences and contains themes some viewers may find upsetting. Please check each episode's show notes for specific content warnings and enjoy the show with care.
We're back with public access on the Bad Spot, and we are starting with the key of the child. Leon, Nina, whoever wants to go, please do.
A flashback to when you experienced childhood trauma. Mom likes to go to bars after work, especially when Dad's traveling. She dons her nice dresses made of shimmering fabric, ones that she makes herself. She sprays Dior perfume on her wrists. Leon can always tell when he's just missed her by the way it lingers in the hall. And some nights she comes back in a good mood and she brings leftover nachos or mini hot dogs and kisses his forehead and tells him all about her day with the girls. And some nights she comes back in a not so good mood, long after he's meant to be asleep. And he hears her sniffling, checking on the house. At least one fragile thing breaks under her hands. And this night, he is trying to do his homework. It's fractions, multiplication. It's raining heavy. He's sitting at the kitchen table and then he just feels eyes on him. He hadn't heard her come in, but she's there just beyond the shadow of the doorway. And her dress is torn at the hem and her hair is sticking to her face, and there's something like pale red clay or paint on her hands, across her mouth. She's lost one of her shoes, and she's not looking at him. She's just mumbling something over and over. Eternidad, eternidad, eternidad. And when he gets up and goes to her to ask her what's wrong, she grabs onto his wrist and pulls him close. Can you hear it, baby? Can you hear it? I can feel it in my teeth, grinding and scraping. That sound, it's cutting through me. I'll show you. You can hear it. You can hear it. En la puerta de la eternidad. And Charlie is barking, but no one is paying attention as his mother drags him out to that cold, cold rain to a destination that he does not know where it is. And there's a moment and she slips on the grass in the front lawn, and that's all that he needs to break free of her and run back into the house, back behind his door and close it. And he waits, and he waits. He waits until morning comes. And when he's brave enough to go outside, she just is in the kitchen packing his lunch. And she asks how he slept. And he feels so sick. And he has scratches on his wrist where she broke the skin. But she seems fine. So he keeps it in. And he doesn't ask. It's too tight in his throat. So he just says it was fine. He slept fine.
A flashback to when you realised childhood wasn't forever. It's late in the Powers house. Like 9 o'clock or so. Nina's been waiting in her bedroom for an hour. She's about 9 years old now. And she's waiting for Mum and Dad to come and read. It's what they do every night. It's the only way she can fall asleep. And she's waiting for the telltale creaks on the stairs. She's waiting for the raised voices. She's waiting for something, anything that would tell her that they've come home. And she's waiting. And the door slams. And a rumble sort of rattles the bones of the house. And slow, unhurried footsteps, heavy footsteps. It's her dad. She knows it's her dad. Come up the stairs. And he leans on the side of the door and looks into her room. She's got the copy of Tolkien that they're reading at the moment. Silmarillion. She loves the listings of all of the names. She loves the lore. She loves the details. She loves the way her mum and dad tell it. They're only a couple of pages in, and it's taken them a long time to get to this point, but as her dad looks down to the books in her hand, he just shakes his head. Not tonight, darling. Not tonight. You're a big girl now. Maybe you can read yourself. And without a second look, he drifts like a ghost from the doorframe down the hall and away. And Nina is left feeling empty. How is she meant to sleep without those stories? She guesses she could read them herself, but how is it an adventure when it's just her? So she opens the book and tries. She struggles with some of the words. And eventually the sunrise creeps up and she realizes she hasn't slept at all.
A fairly quick recap today. You resolved the house in Escondido Street mystery, and we have a couple of things that we have to follow up on there, which we will do in a bit. You have two other active mysteries, Zagreus and Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Now, I will tell you that 1 week has passed between the events of burning down 18 Escondido Street and now. And so we'll be starting 1 week later. And in that week, Zagreus, Leon, you have not seen Attafoy 85. You get an occasional threatening message on some forum from Attafoy, but there's no sign of Attafoy in town that week. Nevertheless, we still have this question. Why is Attafoy stalking and tormenting you? And so that's one thing. We also have some levels still to complete, some secret levels on Zagreus. The other mystery is Slumber Party Summoning Circle, and we still have to figure out whether Linnea Rodenbecker is possessed by a sorrowful ghost or something more demonic in nature. I will tell you that the night that Escondido Street was burned down, or the house was burned down, Linnea was found wandering in an abandoned cemetery on the outskirts of town. This is not a cemetery that's in use anymore. It's long grown over. No one uses it. But in the subsequent days, they got her and she's just been sitting in her room at the ranch. But it does mean you have a little, a few more breadcrumbs that she's left for you. We have this church, we have this abandoned cemetery. You already met her at that bridge. Whatever's possessed her is clearly sending her places, or maybe she's doing it of her own accord. Who knows? A week has passed. A few things to resolve before we continue with our day phase. To start, the very next morning after the house was burned down, we see you, JJ, in the drunk tank at the county lockup, which is not in Deep Lake. It's actually in the next big town over. And we hear the of the cell being open, the cell bars, and Sheriff Hanscom, he's letting you out. And he says, listen, we're going to go with the story that Casey burned down the house. We don't know where he's at. We're going to be looking for him. And that's the story we're going with. So you're off the hook. But can I just make one request?
Go ahead.
You got to stop with all this bullshit.
Define bullshit. Is bullshit like what you told me about the house being a seal?
You know what? It was an emotional night. I probably was saying things that I shouldn't say. We're going to also forget about that too.
Convenient.
Just like I'm going to forget about your involvement with the arson and your friend's involvement.
I mean, the way I remember it is that I was stood next to you when we saw the house go up in the distance. And, well, let's just say if the boys at the lab turn up any hard evidence, any DNA or fibers, then just be in contact with my lawyer.
Right. And here's where he gives you his number, his personal cell phone number. He says, I know I'm not going to be able to stop you and your friends from this TV show you're making. It's fine. Just, if you get into any kind of trouble, will you just call me, please?
I like the idea as well that he gives his number on the business card that JJ gave him with his number on it. And he's just written it on the back and just giving it back to me.
Yeah, that's good. So, that's resolved. A week has passed. One strange thing happens this week. You start to see the Red Power Ranger wandering the streets, walking in front of your house, trying to get into other people's houses and being shooed away. Sometimes one night, he just stood underneath the streetlight and stared at something. We don't know what. He wears the helmet the whole time, so it's hard to tell exactly what his emotional state is or what he's looking at any given time. But you did eventually manage to get him into the house at Rodenbecker Street. You lured him in. How did you do it?
I think Nina sits out on the porch, and if Leon will have let her, she sort of coaxed Mal out, because kids love dogs, especially ones as cute and as sweet as Malcolm. And Nina's got the Voltron toys and is just sort of not making it obvious that she's waiting for him, but is just playing with them and snapping them together And then as Elliot approaches, she just pushes a couple in his direction, shows him how they snap as if he may have forgotten, and maybe this will just jig something in his memory that'll make him trust that what they're doing right now is building back what he's lost.
Elliot Mendoza has been living with you for a few days. He doesn't talk, and you never see him with the Power Ranger helmet off. He still goes about his kid business. Like sometimes you walk into the kitchen and you see him just putting on the Power Ranger helmet as he finishes up his cereal and puts the cereal away. Or you see him hanging up his towel with the helmet kind of pushed back on his head, but then he always slips it down before you can see him. Sometimes he just plays with toys or reads books. And that leads us to our day phase. The smell of burning wood and charred brick, the smell of 18 Escondido Street having gone up in flames, has finally started to leave your nose. You still have these interesting, lingering mysteries. Nina, at one point you wake up on this morning, say, and you find that your mysterious benefactor has left a gift for you on your nightstand. The La Fresca Senior High School Yearbook from 1997. Now, La Fresca is the county seat. It's a much bigger town than Deep Lake. And it's where kids in Deep Lake and much of the county go for high school because Deep Lake doesn't have its own high school. And so you have this La Fresca yearbook from 1997, and there might be all sorts of things to learn there. It is, in fact, a clue that you can use for a mystery. But I will just say that if you just quickly open it, the first thing you'll spot is an in memoriam page in the very beginning with pictures of 19 students who all died on March 13th of 1997, just a few months before this would have been published. You might have even heard this story. You weren't in Deep Lake at the time, but I'm sure this made the news. These kids, they were in computer lab, and they all stood up in the middle of class and, against the protests of their teacher, just marched out of class single file, marched up to the 4th story and then to the roof of the school building, lined up in a row, held hands, and jumped.
What the fuck? Okay. Oh, God.
But there might be more to learn in this yearbook, but that's the straight away thing you'll learn.
I think Nina takes it from the bedside, and, you know, confusion at first, and as she flicks through it, it's just like, who keeps this? Oh my God. And immediately goes off to find the others.
Well, speaking of the others, Leon, I owe you a prize for beating the garden level of Zagreus. This morning when you wake up, you find a shoe. The shoe has been relaced with string. The laces have been removed, and it's been relaced with like yarn string. But the yarn just keeps going. It goes out the room, like under your door, out into the hall. You recognize this shoe. What about it is very upsetting to you?
I recognize it because it's mine from when I was a kid.
What do you do?
I pick up the shoe. I just start pulling at the yarn, seeing if it goes taut.
It goes immediately taut.
Okay, I'll follow it. Just winding it around one of my fingers.
You might step out into the hall and meet Nina stepping out of the hall at that time. The string has been very intentionally wound around like wall sconce, door stopper, so it runs along the wall and the baseboards, essentially. There might be nails in the baseboards that it's been strung over. And it's going downstairs, down the back hall. I don't remember who's rooming downstairs, but you might see the Red Power Ranger kind of playing with the string as you go down there. And he runs off. He always runs off or turns a corner. What are you doing right now, JJ?
So JJ, the previous day, had taken a big delivery of all of the footage that he's been shot and that he's had developed. And he's spent a lot of the last few days poring over the work prints of it in his room. Specifically the chase out of Vector Electronics, trying to kind of piece together what happened there and not being able to focus on any of this, much to his chagrin, terribly shot footage in very low lighting that wouldn't even pass muster as halfway decent found footage stuff.
I will nevertheless give you a meddling move here in a moment. Let's finish up this string business. The string disappears. It disappears behind a wood slat in the hallway.
In the floor or the wall?
The wall.
Okay. And it's still taut when I pull on it, do I hear anything knock against the wall? So it's caught something.
You can add the shoe and the string to your corner of the house.
Okay, thanks.
And now a new mystery. You can follow up on any of the other mysteries anytime you wish, including these little side mysteries. Now for a new mystery, and indeed now for something a little different. The dream. In the 1970s, La Fresca Foods was the largest employer in Degoya County. The company produced a number of candies, packaged desserts, and frozen novelties, and while it was never more than a regional success, it was a highly profitable business on account of its signature product, the Dream. The Dream was a frozen custard-like dessert, and while the company's claims that it had 0 calories were dubious at best, it was nevertheless much loved in the region because of its creamy mouthfeel and excellent taste. La Fresca Foods was on the verge of taking the Dream national when the company suddenly shut down. According to rumors, the company's founder and owner, W. Atlas Morgenstern, was being blackmailed for a secret so terrible he was willing to burn his entire business to the ground rather than give in to the blackmailers. He then became a recluse, holed up in his mansion in the nearby town of Whitespray, never to be seen again. That is, until recently. Mr. Morgenstern has reappeared and re-established La Fresca Foods. He's moved the entire operation from La Fresca to Whitespray, and it produces just one product: a new version of the Dream. Gone are the original flavors of Choco-tastic Blast, Sunshine Strawberry, and Groovy Gooey Vanilla. The Dream now comes in a single flavor called White, and like the flavor's namesake, the frozen novelty is perfectly pristine in color. Furthermore, the new Dream is extremely low calorie, but somehow even more delicious than regular ice cream. The Dream is currently being marketed in and around Nagoya County, though there are rumblings of a forthcoming national campaign. You got a container of the stuff and gave it a try. I'll pose this to JJ. Apart from its astonishingly low caloric content, in what specific way does the Dream defy the laws of physics?
I think if you let it sit to room temperature and it kind of goes a little more liquidy, if you tilt the glass that it's in, it shifts the opposite direction. So if you tip it that way, it goes the opposite way back into the glass.
Not troubling at all. I shall now pose the following to the latchkey with the highest sensitivity, which is you, Leon. For a brief moment after tasting a spoonful of the Dream, you were filled with a sudden and intense anger about having to share the carton with the other latchkeys. How did that anger manifest?
I think that anger manifests as they're in the kitchen taking spoonfuls of it. Leon reaches for the nearest thing, which I think is one of the pots, and starts brandishing it like a weapon, protecting the carton. It's like, I will.
You've already started to hear stories about fights breaking out at grocery stores around displays of the Dream, and that people who have been known to eat large quantities of the stuff are acting strangely. The Dream is, at the very least, a highly addictive, unsafe product. At worst, it's something supernatural. Consumer safety isn't exactly within the latchkey's remit, but it might be worth poking around to get to the bottom of what's going on. If nothing else, it's an excuse to head out to La Fresca, where the original La Fresca Foods offices sit abandoned. La Fresca is a much bigger town than Deep Lake, and so even if nothing comes of your investigation, you can resupply for the rest of the summer. If you want to go deeper with this mystery, you can always make the slightly longer trip to Whitespray. And so here we have no missing children, no strange spirits or demons that we know of.
And yet somehow this single most disturbing thing we've come across so far. This rubs me all the wrong way. This is bizarre. I love it.
Also, presently, not a danger in Deep Lake. This is an opportunity to get out to the rest of the county if you wish. You do have a question here. I actually have two questions, either of which can be pursued. The first is, what is the true nature of the Dream? It's a complexity 6. The opportunity is to resolve the mystery by taking action that will neutralize the Dream's power or otherwise make it safe. The alternative question is, what is W. Atlas Morgenstern's terrible secret? That's a complexity 8. Resolve the mystery by confronting Morgenstern with the truth and convincing him to take the Dream off the market. You also have another key here called the Key of Pure Imagination. And so with 3 active mysteries, Zagreus just kind of hanging out in the background like it does, and Slumber Party at least momentarily under control. Linnea doesn't seem to be behaving, she's not wandering off, at least. She hasn't in the last few days, even though she is still in kind of her strange fugue state. Perhaps this is one to look into, but it's up to the 3 of you. let's go around the table and find out what everyone wants to do. Obviously, you can have nostalgic move as well if you wish. Who wants to? We'll check in with whoever has the most conditions, and I think that's probably Nina. Nina, what are your thoughts for today?
Well, it's Nina and Leon, so I'm wondering if maybe we could share a little a nostalgic scene in which we try and clear some of this up, potentially. And I think maybe I don't really have like a place. Where would Leon want to go, do we think?
I think Leon, having not been threatened by Adafoy, is antsy about it and is still a little bit fixated on Zagreus. But he is willing to do other things.
Okay, I've got an idea. Jason mentioned there is a cemetery. And I think Nina's dad is there. And I think that would be a good place to maybe clear one of my conditions and maybe look at obsessed with death. Mm-hmm. So I will say it's the anniversary of Nina's dad's death. And Nina is going to go and grab some flowers from the Rodenbecker garden. And is just, I think maybe seeing how Leon has gone flat the last week or so is different, noticeably. She'll just sort of rock up near him at breakfast this morning and just go, would you mind coming with me up to Deep Lake Cemetery? It's not a place anybody really wants to go, but I don't really want to be alone. And JJ seems like he's in the zone, the Cinema Velvet zone, or whatever it is he calls it. I don't know. He's pretty obsessed with those tapes. So, but I just need to. This is something I need to do. Would you come with me?
Leon, I think, still had his laptop next to him at the breakfast table and was in the process of typing an email, watches you without saying anything, just a long stare, and then closes the laptop lid. Where do you want to go?
Deep Lake Cemetery.
Right. Yeah, we can go.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And it's maybe a short car ride out to the cemetery. I'd like the idea that maybe it has a view of the lake. And Nina's dad is buried under an old cedar tree. It's not very well cared for, but the grave itself is not like taken care of in any way. Nina very, very rarely visits. And she lays the flowers down. This place always reminds me of the Swamp of Sadness. This is where things don't come back. And I hate it.
Leon is looking at the grave, looking at the name. Where do you think they go after? Do you think there's an after?
I want there to be. I want there to be a version of this that doesn't end here, you know? I want there to be another reality where this isn't game over, this is just a reset point, right? And what do you think?
He kneels or more squats down. I am not sure. I've avoided thinking about it for a long time. The whole thing. Like it's coming. Regardless. Long or short, it's coming for you.
You know, like those TV shows that you and JJ really like? The David Lynch ones? Was it Twin Peaks you guys were watching?
Yeah.
And like,
It's
and
dark.
what was, who killed that girl? What was that?
Who killed Laura Palmer?
Yeah, like in that, like all of those, death just seems like a joke. It's just something to be solved, right?
I mean, it's not really a joke. The entire show is formed around, the first episode is formed around everyone reacting to losing this person who we learn so much about later on.
That
But
feels
we
like a
learn-
joke to me. Why wouldn't you? I'm not going to pretend I get it. I'm not going to pretend. But if everyone else can see death as this big adventure, right? That this isn't the end, maybe, and it's all a mystery. Maybe we can solve it. Maybe there's a way to solve it. Maybe that's why Elliot's here. Maybe
the
that's
Power
why.
Ranger kid.
Yeah. He should be dead. And my dad should have been dead, but I'm trying to figure out what Deep Lake is trying to say to us. And I can't make it out. But this isn't... All I know is that it's saying that death isn't the end here. Maybe there's something more to it.
Maybe. You know, my mom called me.
Your mom?
Mm-hmm. That night that the two of you burned down Escondido, my mother called me. My mother's been dead for 6 years. So I don't know who was talking to me. Maybe you're right.
I think Nina very wordlessly just grabs your hand and just gives it a small squeeze. I think it was your mom.
I'm not sure that's a good thing. She was in trouble.
So was my dad. And I have a feeling that JJ... I think we might all be in the same boat here.
Let's check in on JJ. JJ, let's have this meddling move with reason for reviewing your escape footage from Vertex Electronica.
It's a 10.
One thing you'll notice that catches your eye, or something that catches your eye, you'll have to sort of use your tech wizardry to zoom in on it, to get a good, clean look. It's a cork board, and you can see there are like images of circuits and other notes, things that the developers of the games, I guess, would have posted up. Pictures of circuit boards and, a couple of math equations, things like that, right? But also one corner of the cork board You can't make out the details, but you can make out the nature of what you're looking at. One corner of the corkboard is all obituaries that have been clipped from the newspaper. That's your clue. What are you going to do after you're done discovering that?
I think, well, JJ would like to get some footage in the arcade because he's not been there yet. And I'm curious as to see whether or not I can run into, is it Tim
Crayley? Yeah.
Tim Crayley, who I was told about at the lockup. And there's something about Zagreus that's starting to bother JJ. And I think there's something in his nature that I think wants to go and try and see if he can complete the last level if Leon's not going to do it. And I kind of want to try and do it to draw out Atafoy, because if Atafoy is Bartman, I've already told Bartman that I completed Zagreus, that I beat it. And if my theory is correct that it's the same person, then I think maybe me hitting the kill screen or something might draw him out.
Let's fast forward to Galaxia Arcade then. You get to Galaxia Arcade, and even though it's well after time for it to be open, the door is still locked. You might even see a couple of people who are kind of ahead of you, like, as you're coming down the street, you might see them go up and check the door, and it doesn't open. And like, it was supposed to have been open an hour ago. What's going on? And then they just kind of wander off. What do you do?
Can I check the parking lot to see if FG's car's there or?
It is indeed.
I reckon I'm going to the back door to see if I can force my way in, I think.
Let's do the day move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you get noticed or if you otherwise fail?
Oh, obviously, Hanscom's going to be there, isn't he? I think that's a fair assumption these days.
Go ahead and make the roll with composure.
7.
You get in. In fact, the back door is open. Maybe FG was taking out trash or something and forgot to lock it back up. Who knows? Maybe the lock doesn't work and he just trusts people. But in any case, you're able to go in, no trouble. You can hear the bleeping and the blooping, the sort of electronic hum of the games, right? You can smell something burning. There's pizzas in the pizza oven that were left in there and are now smoking because they've been in there too long. The carpet has this ridiculous solar system print, swirls and planets, and it all has kind of a weird kind of day glow look to it, especially because of the blue lights and stuff overhead. And at one point your shoe steps into a particularly soft and wet part, and you realize that you're stepping in a trail of blood. And you go to the back office and you see FG in the office. He looks like he's been gored. His guts are hanging out of his stomach. And he looks like he tried to defend himself with his coin changer, because it's still kind of rested in his hand, or still in his hand. How does it make you feel to discover FG's body?
Disemboweled arcade owners, not really in my comfort zone. So I think JJ's me, very squeamish, and I think he's already run out of the room and hurled. So yeah, sickened probably.
Take a sickened condition. We hear this like kind of background hum, like I said, this bloop 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 bloop, you know, just noise, and then it just goes quiet. It just all stops. All the arcade machines are off, except for one. Indeed, when after you clean yourself up and turn around, it's right there, dead ahead, waiting on you. What do you do?
JJ is pretty frightened. He's very shaken from what he's just discovered, but I think that there's something about the loading screen or the hold screen music or the light of it that is kind of beckoning him towards it. And I think before he's even like realized what he's doing, he's started filming, and he has kind of stooped and is slowly pushing in on this arcade cabinet, which is glaring at him from the darkness of all the other machines being off, with this kind of greenish yellow urine-y light that seems to be emanating from it. And I think before he even knows he's done it, he is inserting blood-stained quarters into the machine.
Let's press start. You're going to be playing the next secret level, which is the Palace. The Palace depicts pillared chambers, masked courtiers, a shadowy king upon a blood-red throne. This level requires you to solve a complex rhythm game, all while avoiding the knives of the court. Let's paint the screen. Something about this level makes you think the game is aware of you. What is it?
I think every now and then, as the kind of the court does its cycle of pushing sprites on and off the screen, there are 3 sprites that look just like us who come walking on and then disappear off quickly.
The hood of the king upon the throne glitches briefly, and for a moment, FG's dead eyes look back at JJ, and then the hood returns.
The court jester, as his little sprite bounces around the screen, comes up to you, and in the picture that pops up as he waves, there's red spots on his gloves that match the bloodstains on your fingers from where you picked up those coins.
You have to make the roll with either composure or reason, your choice, -3, and at disadvantage because of squeamish.
You see, it's hard. It's difficult.
Watch this. It's all I'll say. -3 with the +1 for is actually 5, which I think is the cursed number that we've rolled every time we've done this.
On a miss, you use up all your lives and take the condition obsessed with death. Game over. What do you do?
Can I turn the key, please? Can I turn the key of the
Sure.
child? Yeah, to bump
You
it up.
certainly can. You certainly can. Instead, you beat the level, and you collect the level's prize. The cabinet shows a prophecy of a fellow Latchkey's demise. In a future scene, when another Latchkey is getting ready to take an action that will require a die roll, you can warn them that Zagreus predicted their death if they take this action. If they go through with the action anyway, you both mark XP. On the die roll, the miss result is replaced with "You are killed." The keeper will describe how. You can have that in your back pocket. And perhaps just as you're getting ready to step away, having successfully defeated the occluded king, the menu shows one extra level called Dev Null. Let me check in on the nostalgic move. Did we clear conditions yet? I heard different things.
I think, I think so. Like, haunted is what I was going for.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but using the Swamp of Sadness.
Yeah, I picked up on that.
Yeah.
And Leon?
I was trying to go for Obsessed with Death using Who Killed Laura Palmer by just accepting that death is coming.
I'm into it. What is the clue that we stumble upon at the cemetery that might have some relevance to what Linnea was doing out there, or who knows, maybe it has some other relevance?
I have a pretty fucked up one.
Love it.
The branding of the stag that we saw on
Several characters
Corey's arms.
Yeah.
It's at the top of the grave of Nina's dad.
Oh, that is dark. That's good. Yeah. I think it's also interesting that this is maybe part of the clue too. You can decide. It's interesting context, if nothing else. No one's used that cemetery for decades, but your dad was buried there. That's weird.
Yeah. Perfect. That'll do it.
Fantastic. All right. If there are no objections, that's the clue for Slumber Party. Let's get to this last level, Dev Null. JJ, as you go to select the final level, the cabinet just immediately shuts off. After a moment of silence, the game comes back to life with the thrumming pulse of malevolent circuitry. The screen explodes into a multi-chromatic, glitchy strobe, accompanied by shrill 8-bit tones. The Zagreus cabinet screams before shutting off. Again. For good. Your prize for completing this level is you have unlocked the last question. What is the awful truth of the Zagreus disappearances? It's a complexity 2, and the opportunity is to resolve the mystery by posting your findings online. I'll note that question here in a bit, but that is how you resolve Zagreus. Please note that after you resolve Zagreus, you still have access to the Adaphoi 85 question if you need it. So when you head out from the cemetery to your car, Elliot's sitting in the back seat.
Yep, that makes sense.
Playing with his toys. And you can drive back into town now.
I like the idea that maybe just Leon and Nina just share like a... Yep.
Buckle up, kid.
Yeah,
Let's make things extra complicated here, shall we?
sure thing.
Why?
As you're driving back into town, you spy Linnea walking up the driveway to some building off the side of the road. What do you do?
Oh, Nina slams on the brakes. Everyone okay? Sorry, that's Linnea.
Yeah.
That's Linnea. That's Linnea. And unbuckles and like shoots out of the car.
But we're in the...
Linnea!
Indeed. Leon, what do you do?
Elliot's still in the backseat.
Yeah, he's not interested in going. He just sits there.
No,
Just
I
crack
just...
a window
I
for him.
did
He'll be fine.
I crack a window for a ghost? Sure.
It's Mal and Elliot in the back, and we're cracking a window, but we don't know for which one.
God. Leon's going to... Mal, watch Elliot. Or don't. I don't know. And get out of the car and run after Nina.
Linnea is ahead of you. She, and now you, are walking onto the grounds of an abandoned meatpacking plant. Janie Meatpackers Limited. It hasn't been in use for some time. There's lots of there's banks of glass windows that have been kind of shattered around the facility. The grass has grown up really high. Let's paint the scene. What about this place makes it seem like the setting of a slasher film?
The corrugated metal gates, partially rusted over, are open slightly, just enough that you can hear creaking chains inside, but there's only darkness.
I think there is a a low beam that runs along the length of one of the buildings that's just got rows and rows of these big meat hooks. And on one of the meat hooks hangs a bloodied pair of handcuffs.
Inside, there's a couple of stainless steel work tables, long disused, and they're grimy, grubby. And there is the outline of all of the meat that has been cut, where it has been bloodied, where it's sliced a little too hard and dented the table. And something has decomposed on one of these tables, and the outline it has left is distinctly human.
Leon and Nina, you're not aware of any of that yet. You're still outside. But you will see on the side of the building a huge faded mural of the cartoon pig mascot of Janie Meatpackers Limited. He's called Hampton the pig. In the mural, he's depicted as pulling out sausage links from his stomach as if he were sort of cartoon disemboweling himself, but with a smile on his face and a quote that says, "How's about some sausages, yeah?" That's Hampton's famous saying. Linnea has slipped into the building. What do the two of you do?
Oh, we can't just leave her. We can't. She's not in her right mind. She's not right now. She could hurt herself.
I'm getting my dog.
Thank you.
I get Mal. Try not to talk to Elliot and then come back.
Elliot's not in the back seat anymore when you go to get the dog.
Cool.
Somehow that's worse.
Leon just comes back with Mal, who's chipper as anything, and just says, "Kid's gone. Let's go."
Oh god, I hate this. Okay. And she'll pull out the flashlight and into the... Is it like chicken wire fencing, or is it just an abandoned building?
Yeah, there's like it's mostly just like the fence. You got past the fence, and then you kind of go up the little driveway.
Okay.
And then the building itself is there's like a kind of like rear, like kind of like service or like, like delivery, entrance and exit. But then there's like a just a regular like kind of door that goes into the interior of the killing floor, I guess. That's just a term of art here. Doesn't necessarily mean the killing's gonna happen. That's where Linnea went into.
Oh god damn it. And yeah, Nina slips in and over the killing floor as tentatively as she can, and very aware of what she's doing. Like, she knows that this is really fucking stupid, but someone's in danger, and she feels like she has to go and help them.
Leon, do you go in?
I am, mostly not to leave Nina by herself, but I'm sending Mal ahead. I'm trying to look to see if there's anyone else here. I know we're following Linnea, but is there anybody else that might be watching us?
Matt, as Nina and Leon and Mal walk around the interior of the abandoned meatpacking plant, indeed, if we were making the movie of this, where in the background is the person wearing the Hampton costume standing?
I think as the camera slowly glides along these empty corridors, it goes past office after office, after meatpacking room, after washdown room, after all the prep rooms, and then without stopping, the camera keeps moving, and we see someone dressed as Hampton just sat at a desk as if it's just a normal office day. And then the camera, cinema verite style, comes back and there's no one there.
JJ, what do you do after the Zagreus machine dies and you're now just standing in a very quiet arcade?
The realization of what's happened hits JJ. Now the machine's off. As the machine is powered down, he doesn't quite feel that pull anymore, that compulsion to play. And he realizes he's in an active crime scene. He has the victim's blood on his hands, and he makes a very deep-voiced call to Officer Hanscom and says that there's something at the arcade that he needs to see, and scurries out as fast as he can without being seen, hopefully.
Let's rewind a bit. I think as soon as you turn to make that call and exit, you hear, "Stop right there." There is a woman sheriff's deputy with dark hair pulled back into a bun, training her weapon on you. She's just stepped out of FG's office. Presumably she followed you in, or she just came in on a tip. What do you do?
JJ's got his hands out, and he's got blood on his hands, and he's just like, it's not what it looks like. If you give Sheriff Hanscom a call, I'm sure we can just get this straightened right out.
Let's make the day move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
My second prison stay in a week. This one, which might feel slightly more serious, I think.
Go ahead and roll with composure.
8.
You can see that the name badge on the deputy's shirt says Toro. This is Deputy Toro, Deputy Renita Toro. You'll learn soon enough. And she says, yeah, I think we'll do that. Let's call the sheriff. But in the meantime, you just sit right there, pointing to one of the bar stools. And she kind of calls it in. We fast forward a bit. The complication is that you're not out of hot water yet. Now the sheriff is there. You're still there in the arcade, and he wants to know, what are you doing? What's going on? There's emergency people or, other authorities, kind of there on the crime scene now with FG's body and all that. But you're there being questioned. What are you saying?
I think there's like a hard cut to JJ talking to Officer Hanscom, who looks like he's about to have a brain aneurysm. And JJ's like, yeah, I know the last time we spoke, you said for me to stay out of trouble. Yes, I'm at a murder scene with the victim's blood on my hands, but he was like that when I found him. You'll see my vomit in the waste paper basket. There's no fingerprint. My fingerprints are on the quarters. Yes, I will admit to that. But Zagreus was unattended. It was my only chance to ever play it. Did you see the queues out of this place the other day? And I was going to call this in. I was going to you ring the number that you gave me and get you to come down and square it away. But But
you decided to play a video game first.
Is that a crime, officer?
Well, it doesn't look good, Mr. Gastineau.
Again, is not looking good a crime?
This is going to be the day move again. I'm going to give you a condition already called under suspicion. You're going to make this roll again with composure, this time at disadvantage.
Can I argue for the night move, Jason?
I'm not forcing you to do the night move, but I'm happy for it to be the night move. You are in a dark place.
I just think the stakes are much higher than JJ thinks they are.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Well, then what are you afraid is going to happen?
I'm afraid that the easiest solution to this crime is me going down for it. And I think that would be that's an open and shut case for the officers on. They don't have to do any investigating. They've got me right here.
It's worse than that. Whatever's going on here, Sheriff Hanscom and Deputy Toro are in on it. And they silence you permanently right here and right now.
Wonderful.
Go ahead and make that roll at disadvantage.
What was it with?
Composure.
Then that's a 7.
Ah, very good. I think after enough hemming and hawing, you will be able to convince the sheriff to at least let you go. Maybe you're still clearly a person of interest, but he's going to let you go. Unfortunately, you're going to be there for the rest of your day phase. Let's check in with the meatpacking plant. I think since you sent Mal ahead, I think this is going to happen before the two of you have to deal with the horror of this place. And so I want the meddling move with, I think it's probably, I guess we can make a case for present. No, that's not quite right. What is it? It's your connection to Mal. So I'm going to say presence. But of course you get advantage because you're using the dog. So
7.
I'm not going to answer the question of whether or not there's someone else here. But Mal, because he's such a good boy, comes back with a clue. He brings back a large book, a copy of the Codex Gigas, the historical Bible of the devil, that was just laying around in there.
Finding books left, right, and center. First is the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Now it's the Book of the Devil. It's fine. It's fine. Codex Gigas.
For the two of you to continue investigating or going after Linnea in this place, you must make the night move. If you wish to do that, let me know. Otherwise, you can turn around and leave Linnea to her own business.
I think Leon is looking at this book that Mal has brought copiously, giving him copious amounts of pets, and then kind of now, Nina, I think I know what this is, but I'm not 100% sure. So if I show you these words and you tell me it is what I think it is, I think we just might have to find Linnea another day.
Nina takes the book from Leon and is sort of trying to parse what he's saying and then clocks the title. We need to go. We need to leave. This I don't know. No, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This was a mistake. Fuck, I'm sorry, Leon, I'm sorry. And she's just running the way that they came out.
It's fine, it's cool. I came in here with you. We all make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, Linnea, go, please just get out. Just get out of here.
Well, you can always come back at night too, so.
Oh yeah, because that'll be much less scary.
Matt, are you ready to do Key of the Child for JJ?
I sure am.
Please do.
Okay, a big one. A flashback to when you first discovered TV Odyssey. Joey is about 8 or 9. And he's sat cross-legged in an apartment, not the house we last saw his family in. This one's much smaller. Single room, Murphy bed, folded into the wall. Boxes piled everywhere, nothing unpacked. On the kitchen counter, there's plates that are still wrapped in newspaper and bubble wrap that JJ's mum is hastily putting a sandwich onto and giving him, and she's, as she normally is, kind of floating around, almost like she's kind of weightless, wheeling her arms around, singing. And any adult witnessing this scene would know that she's high, right? And she has in her hand a very familiar looking 8mm camera, and she is filming Joey, and she's saying, "Look, Joey, look, Joey, we're making memories, Joey. And she's spinning around him, just kind of trigger happy, burning through film and laughing. And Joey can see that there's a pawn shop tag on the lens, just kind of hanging off, and he's humoring her. He just wants to have his milk and his sandwich. And what he really doesn't want is for his dad to come home, which is exactly what happens. And the life and joy in the room just drains out almost instantly as this man shuffling through the door like a aged prize fighter, limping with a leg in a heavy brace, comes into the room. He takes off a Letterman jacket from La Fresca High and hangs it on the stand. He sees Joey's mum with the camera and he flies into a rage. The last thing Joey hears is his dad berating her for buying back the camera that he just pawned, how they've got no money, how they can't afford any of this. And Joey's mum drops the camera. Joey picks it up and runs around the corner, and he sits himself in a fort made of cardboard boxes, impenetrable to the screams and the anger and the acts of violence and cruelty that are playing out on the other side of those castle walls. And he's sat cross-legged in front of a CRT TV. He does what he always does when this happens. He puts his headphones on to drown it out, to drown out the hellish sounds and the vibrations that come through the floorboards. He's a kid, but he knows what's happening, and this is his only escape. And he's crying, he has tears streaming down his face, and he's trying to get the TV on, and he's just cycling through as many channels as he can to have something to focus on, something to distract him on. And he reaches the late 90s of the cable box as it goes round, and he sees a channel he's never seen before. And in his headphones, it's almost like we've entered a dead room. He cannot hear or feel anything else. And he is looking at this strange, grainy, fuzzy, glitchy footage, the likes of which he's never really seen on television before. Everything he's seen is polished, or it's animated, or it looks like it costs money. But here we see two men in their 20s with kind of like long mullet haircuts and handlebar moustaches, and they're carrying film equipment, and they're out for Walt's Film Club. They're in a desert location, and they're talking about how they set up these shots, and they are pretending to make a film about a coven of witches. And JJ doesn't notice the small things that you'd notice now if you watch this footage back. He doesn't notice the line of figures in cloaks standing on the hills in the distance. He doesn't hear the anguished cries coming through the white noise between the laughs of the hosts. And he certainly doesn't notice the dark, foreboding tunnel that is their last filming location. All he cares about is that he has entered a world where there's no violence, there's no screaming, and there's nothing for him to be scared of. But how wrong he was.
The dusk phase. First things first, are we watching an Odyssey tape? You still have 2?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You can only watch it at Rodenbecker right now, back at home. So that's worth noting.
Yeah.
Which of the 2 tapes are you going to do?
So we've got Astral 09, Pyramid Passage, Pure White Contact, and is it Animal Kingdom Pure White?
Animal Kingdom Pure White.
What are we feeling?
We've had the Astral one for the longest, haven't we? But
yes. When did we
Yeah, I
get
think that was
one?
like the second one that we got.
yeah, maybe.
Was that the one you took off of Hanscom's car?
Possibly. Yeah.
I
Potentially.
don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that works for
Cool.
me.
Yeah.
Which of these questions do we want to try to answer?
I've got a very loose theory for Slumber Party Summoning Circle. Is Linnea possessed by a sorrowful ghost or something more demonic in nature? So, using the 2 attendees have burn marks in the shape of stags as sort of like the leaping off point, and then all of the other stag brandings as well. Including the one on Mr. Power's graves, and then combining that with a copy of the Codex Gigas. I don't think it's a stag. I think it's something that's maybe been warped over years and years of use, and I think it's something with horns. I think it could be the devil. And I think that what is being infused into these people, into this cult, is the spirit of a demon. I think that's what Linnea has in her now. I think the crying game wasn't La Llorona. I think it was something far more malevolent that crept in La Llorona's place. Sort of in the same way that Escondido Street sort of swapped Elliot and Casey. This is swap the demons that were being called upon in the crying game, something like that.
Yeah, the Crying Circle. Yeah, I like the idea of the demon had already been summoned, and the Crying Circle like kind of was the, or like the demon sort of exists in the atmosphere or whatever, and the Crying Circle sort of like allowed it like to sort of as a doorway, right? Which I think is great.
Yeah.
And it sounds like maybe some of the people who were at the party and who have been kind of hanging around the periphery of this mystery since know that. They know that that's going to happen. Like it was intentional, which is really dark. How intriguing. It would be a flat roll by my count.
Yep.
I've got something else to add to this. If it doesn't change things. But do you remember the really kind of vague story that they told us when we asked them where they got the brands? They were like, oh, we were out drinking in the desert and we met this guy and he branded us.
Yes.
So here's what I think. I think the stag brands are wards of protection against demonic possession. But to get them, they had to give someone else up who's not branded. And Linnea is who they came up with and brought to the party. And that's also why we were invited as potential hosts for demons.
Oh, interesting.
That's way better.
Okay,
let's go with
that's
that.
intriguing, yeah.
It's sort of the same.
Yeah, I'm into it. So then it's still a flat roll. So who wants to roll it?
Matt, do you want to go?
I think you did most of the work for that. I just came in at the end, so you should roll.
Okay. It's a 7.
Fantastic. You are correct. And you have unlocked the next question, which is, if Linnea is possessed by a demon, what is the demon's true name? It's a complexity 4. You resolve the mystery by invoking the demon's true name and banishing it. A demon's true name isn't a literal name, but something more symbolic or figurative. A sequence of numbers or objects, a ritual behavior, a particular combination of sounds or smells, a lurid act. etc. So that is you're one step closer. Let's continue on with our phase here. Well, what action would your latchkeys like to take tonight? We'll go around the table, starting with JJ. JJ, what's your plan for tonight?
I want to go down in them tunnels, man. I think we should all go.
Yep. It's time.
That's 2 for the tunnels, Leon.
Yeah, let's go.
Has Leon still got the labyrinth?
Yep.
Fuck!
What about
It's
this?
fine.
What about this shoe and the string that goes into the walls?
Oh god, that's the labyrinth yarn! Sorry. Yep, sorry. I hate how much this game. This fucking game.
You could peel back the wood panels pretty easily.
Yeah, I think once we get back from that meatpacking plant, yeah, it's the wall and the yarn.
The yarn goes down a set of stairs that were hidden behind the wall. There's something beneath the house you're staying in. Secret basement, which itself opens up to a long corridor that the string continues down. That sounds like a good use of your time tonight.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, let's introduce the Odyssey tape. Astral 09 Pyramid Passage Pure White Contact. The tape is an episode of Voyages Through the Astral with Lunaria Gomez. The show's neon pink title card scrolls up the screen as a synthy, spacey soundtrack plays. Lunaria Gomez appears on the screen walking in the desert. She's wearing a white caftan and sandals. Her long dark hair has feathers and beads strung through it. Everyone will do prompt 1. Prompt 2 will be Jess. Prompt 3 will be Wren. And prompt 4 will be Matt. We pop in the tape. Despite the age of the tape, the image on the screen is remarkably clear. In what ways does the desert environment seem even more real on the tape than it would in life?
The desert and everything we see is in the most crisp, almost hyper-real detail, down to the level of you can see there's like a kind of half-buried bull skull or something, and you can see the grains of dust blowing off it. But the peculiar thing is when Lunaria enters frame, she still looks like a VHS from the 80s.
There's not quite a sunset, but you can see the sun beginning to make its way behind Lunaria as she enters into frame, and her shadow and the shadows of the cacti next to her cast forward, and it's almost as if they cast out of the screen and onto the floor.
Where we're watching it, the room where we all are, feels quite normal. Every sense of ours feels regular, but then all of a sudden, as this sunset over a hyper-crystal desert scene takes over, there is a smell. It is of rock and sand and salt and the earth, and it is twisted into one great wall of air that just overcomes us and floods our nose and senses, and it's all we can smell. as if we are part of the desert itself.
The three of you and Mal and Elliot Mendoza find yourselves pretty quickly in the disused utility tunnels beneath the town. We've seen them at different times. Except now you have a string to follow. The scene is yours.
Who? Did you make that noise? Leon, was that you?
No.
JJ?
JJ is still filming. Like, stops. He's like, "What noise?"
Nina's got the flashlight and trains it down on Mal. And it becomes clear that Mal's not got anything in his mouth. He's happily loping beside us. I heard it. Maybe I'm.
No, what'd you hear?
It sounded like it's like like a glottal noise, like a bird of prey makes, or like the snapping of a beak. It was something with a rhythm.
Okay.
Well, we'll put a pin in that. Let's. Right. Okay. Gather round, and JJ kind of pulls them in, and he's like, "Right, I've seen enough horror movies. Like, we'll be fine. Just stay within, like, visual distance of each other. Like, keep checking in. If you see anything remotely weird, just say it. Stay frosty, and we will get out of this. Trust me."
Stay frosty. Okay. I just everything looks weird down here. The shadows seem too long. Nothing seems right. Fuck. Okay. Let's keep going.
Think Leon is holding on to the string. The shoe he anchored to the staircase banister back there. So he's just letting it run through his fingers. Not sure of the destination, but he's following it.
You follow it for a time until you get to a bend in the tunnels that looks remarkably familiar. Indeed, it looks very much like that camcorder footage that was found inside the Zagreus cabinet. You'll recall they all rounded a corner, and that's when their footage ended. You are at that corner. Indeed, around the way, you see what appears to be a white glow. What do you all do?
I think maybe we should turn right.
Right.
The string goes directly to wherever that light is.
There was something else in the tape. Mr. Whiteley. That was the direction Mr. Whiteley came from. It was one of their dads, I want to say.
You guys can hear towards the direction of the light JJ's film and him slowly walking towards it.
What?
There. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard that.
Jess, Lunaria reaches a towering sandstone arch, a structure she calls the first gate. As she passes beyond it, what makes you think for just a moment that she is no longer in our world?
Lunaria is setting her hand on the side of the gate. And as she does, you can almost feel it in your own hand. The texture, the heat. And she gazes up on it and back to the camera with a wide smile and passes through, and very briefly, that VHS quality of hers doesn't materialize on the other side of the gate. And then, almost like a glitch in the tape, she suddenly reappears. But for that moment where she is missing, for that moment, it's like she's inside you. You can feel her. In that place where your soul should be, in that place where monsters sharpen their claws, in the void where youth is confused with beauty. That is where she is inside you. And then there she is back in the tape, and that feeling fades.
JJ, it sounded like you were going around the corner.
And then he turns around and says, what? And realizes that he's walked slightly further ahead of them, and he thinks he's still got a visual on the torch in the distance, but now he's a little turned around because there's a light up ahead. And I think JJ just says, stay within visual, guys. We're nearly there, and just keeps walking towards the light.
As we're watching Astral 09, the frame cuts to show a head-on view of JJ approaching the camera. Calling out to you all. We're looking at JJ from the viewpoint of what's looking at him right now. JJ, as you round the corner, as you call out to the group, you see that there's a camera there in this little alcove in the tunnel, lit by large white lights, like studio lights. And there's a camera pointing at you. But that's not even the most interesting thing here. The most interesting thing here is the old man bound to the wall by hundreds of yards of videotape, as if a nest gathered all over his body, holding him there, just his head peering out of the tangle of tape. He looks desiccated, dead, and I want you to make the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen right now if you lose your nerve?
I feel like I'm going to become the star of my own snuff film.
How is it worse than that? I think whatever it is going to also go after eventually Nina and Leon. This is going to be with sensitivity, and I'm going to put you at disadvantage because it's squeamish as well.
7.
The complication here is you don't have enough time to react or tell the others what you see, and they're going to round the corner and see the same thing you do. The two of you, though, are coming around the corner. You're going to see everything as I've described it. And as us as players, as we're watching the tape, we see the characters and the boy turning the corner, walking directly toward us. I would like for you both to make the night move as well. Please tell me what you're afraid is going to happen right now.
I'm afraid I'm afraid Nina's not going to be able to stop Elliot from seeing this in time. I think she's afraid of what happens if he interacts with this.
Oh, I think it's worse than that. I think Elliot disappears.
Oh.
This is going to do a sensitivity. Let's take a look at your conditions.
Oh, not my strongest.
Your conditions, bones of the earth. The doorway feels relevant. There's a threshold of sorts happening here. Disadvantage, please, and sensitivity.
So it's a 9 minus... Oh, with disadvantage, sorry. Okay, it's a 7 minus 1, 6.
Leon, what are you afraid is going to happen right now?
I am afraid that whatever we see when we round this corner is going to make us scatter.
Interesting. It'll just be you and Mal scattering, but I'm into it. It's worse than that. The reason why you scatter is because you're being chased by something. You're going to roll a sensitivity as well, and because of the labyrinth, you are at a disadvantage.
Could I use Mal to make it flat?
How so?
Could I, having Mal on a leash, whatever Mal sees, I think Mal is going to take me back the way we came.
And eventually you'll be able to find the string, right, and continue on.
Yeah.
I love it. That's going to be with flat roll sensitivity.
All right. Finally. So that is 10.
Mal sees the thing that no one else has seen. The thing that is crawling around in the dark on the ceiling of the tunnel. And bolts and pulls you along. Let's go back to the tape. Wren, the tape cuts to a scene of Lunaria seated in lotus position atop a large flat rock. How has her appearance changed from the previous scene?
Lunaria was in a white caftan, but it's changed into something almost Greco-Roman. It seems out of place and out of time. The feathers in her hair have somewhat merged with her hair, or perhaps her hair has become these long and dark feathers. The beads, they reach down and cover her neck until you realize they've sunken into her skin. And her skin wraps around, almost blinking around them, as if they've become extra sets of eyes dotted down her neck and her collarbone. And as she sits there in this lotus position, her eyes, her true eyes, close. And then it's wiped from her face, like a bit of static moving across the VHS, and it's like they were never there.
At that precise moment, the old man bound by the videotape on the wall, the corpse, opens his eyes. They are nothing but static. You just hear the... He opens his mouth. And a beam of static energy, I'm not sure, but comes out of his face and consumes Elliot, who has stepped forward. And then the old man's eyes dim, and he goes back to just being a corpse attached to the wall. Unless you're turning a key.
Yeah, I've grown marginally attached to the strange little Power Ranger that we take on adventures with us. Yeah, I will.
We'll get to that. JJ, how are you keeping it together right now?
JJ hasn't seen any of this because he has been hyper focused on trying to get that camera out of its little niche on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And has been paying no mind at all to the desiccated corpse that just came alive.
You can have it. Please add Mr. Waitley's camera to your corner of the house. Leon, you and Mal are getting out of here. You run. You're going to escape. You have the string to follow and Mal's instincts, which is all very helpful. Every now and then, you look over your shoulder and you catch a glimpse of what's chasing you. Whatever it is, it has a milky white chitin as it skitters and crawls atop the ceilings, chasing you. But please otherwise describe your escape.
There's a moment as Leon is running and he looks behind and sees this creature. And in that split second, it almost looks realer than real. He can see texture on this thing that he shouldn't be able to. Every crack and crevice, every snip and click as its limbs bend and speed toward him. It's almost as if he can't tear his eyes away, but Mal is pulling him. And so even as he trips over himself and tries to right himself, holding on to this leash for dear life, he manages to find the string and he calls over his shoulder, "Nina! JJ! We gotta go!" And he is letting Mal and this string guide him back to the bottom of that staircase.
Matt, the tape cuts to the last scene. Lunaria is walking toward a great mesa. A series of black and white concentric triangles appears on the screen, a seeming gateway into the mesa. What happens when she walks through them?
We see her moving away from the camera at a distance, almost as if she has left the camera running and walked away from it to film her. And we can see these triangles appear within themselves and start to replicate, like holding two mirrors up against each other, and it goes on seemingly into infinity. And then the camera does what we know as an impossible move. It hovers up, it follows her at great speed, it swings around her, perfect concentric circles, and we can see that every time she passes and breaks the line of a triangle, a piece of her becomes that shape. She becomes geometry. And as the camera moves around her in this kind of flow-mo motion, we can see what would be inside her as spooling out of kind of reams and reams of videotape coming out in this kind of black, shiny spools. And the camera goes round and round until there isn't much left of her, and she's left this geometric trail behind her. and then we just push in on her face, and she smiles, and then there is a hard cut to a sun bolo tie, and a 6-fingered hand comes in and adjusts it, and then it cut to black.
Nina, Elliot has stepped forward. We see the static beam coming from Mr. Whately's face. We see Elliot in his little red Power Ranger costume, his little red glove, reaching forward. And he speaks for the first time. That's where my mommy and daddy are. What do you do?
Nina looks back at Mr. Whiteley and then back to Elliot and can hear Leon's calls and can see JJ looking to bolt, looking to go. No, Elliot. Not anymore. Not like they were. We have to go. And she just grabs him by the shoulder, grabs JJ, pulls him, and basically just tries to force everyone back down the tunnel and away from this thing. And as they sort of do, they're running back towards to where Leon is just howling after them. And they make a sort of little triangle of people with Elliot in the middle as they run back through the tunnel, if you were to sort of look at it from above. And they're just running and running and running.
Leon, when you get to the top of the stairs, Mal's gone ahead of you. And by the time you get there, you see him being petted by the big man at the top of the stairs. He looks bad. I don't know if you could even charitably call him the big man anymore. He's quite sunken. The suit hangs off of him almost like a second skin, or like an empty shell. He's petting Mal. He's smiling with cracked yellow teeth. You can actually see blood pumping in his veins beneath his translucent skin. He does not look good. But he looks up at you. The deep desert is calling to me. The ancient places are being trod upon once more. The old things, the old hungers in the earth are shaking off their slumber, and I must go to them. I just wanted to say goodbye to this one. As he pets Mal.
What are you okay?
I tried my best. I really did. I did what I could. I'm afraid you're on your own now.
Well, wait.
That concludes the night phase.
Like, you're creepy, but don't leave us, man. Damn.
Let's answer our dawn questions. We did not resolve a mystery yet. However, we might have gotten some signals from the other side. Let's check in on signals from the other side. Matt, do you want to make a case for?
Yeah, the unspooled videotape holding
Fantastic.
the guy to the wall.
Love it. Nina, I picked up on yours, the shadows.
long shadows in the triangles. Yeah.
Leon, did you get one?
Yeah, the hyperrealism of the critter.
Indeed. So you all get an XP for that. Let's keep going with individual questions. JJ, did you deliver a chilling monologue about something that happened to you in the past?
Unless you count the key of the child, I don't think.
Those count. Yeah. The flashbacks count. It's in character or out of character, right?
Okay, cool.
Were you vulnerable with someone?
No, I decided to antagonize the police instead.
Indeed, you did. Nina, did you deliver the chilling monologue?
I think so. Yep, at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Where parents weren't reading to her anymore and childhood is dead, etc., etc.
Did you go out of your way to reconnect with Deep Lake?
Had to go find my dead dad.
Indeed you did. Fantastic. Leon, you definitely shared a good memory from your childhood. Or I think you did. Did you? Ish. Kind of a half good memory. I'll give it to you in any case. You definitely did the other one, though, which is the chilling monologue. You definitely did that one. Fantastic. All right, so everyone gets their XP. I see some advancements happening. That's great.
Yes.
You can choose advancements as you have time. Let's keep going with our phase here. I don't think we have any unresolved. Oh, well, actually, no, because you marked a key, didn't you, Nina? Which mark?
I marked a flashback to when you first discovered TV Odyssey.
Do you want to do that now? Or do you wait?
Can I think on it for next session?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
And I think that is it. But before we go, we see the big man, or whatever's left of him, walking, stumbling in the desert. The sun is high in the sky, bright and hot. He looks different than you remember. The flesh of his face hangs in long, saggy flaps. His eyes are milky and occluded. His cowboy hat is nowhere to be seen. His great bulk is no more. Now he is just a tall, gaunt, yellow thing wandering the waste. A king of ghouls. He walks to the yawning mouth of a cave where young cousin Dolores, in her sailor dancing costume, is doing a little tap dancing number at the mouth of the cave. Posing, tapping, capering about. He calls forth to the cave. Come forth from the blackness, if you must, you great hungers, you devils of the ancient world, renders of flesh. You have followed the signal to this place, followed it home. Show yourself then. Show yourself, and do what thou wilt. Cousin Dolores is still capering in front of the cave mouth, greeting the Balam children as they step forth from the cave. A couple of them even have those milky white insects crawling on their bodies. We see Tammy Lou smile with her half mouth. And then after them, comes David, Mr. Tilbert, of affirmations, wearing his neat suit. He looks up at the sun as he steps out of the cave, and he smiles, his wide smile stretching to his ears. And we see, as he opens his mouth in awe, the strands of webs. And finally, we hear as the Happy Jack puppet walks out of the cave. Lucy's hand is still attached to his body, but she's lying face down on the ground as Happy Jack pulls her corpse, scraping her face, leaving a smear of blood. You have left the old religion and moved into the next layer of the campaign, the Great Hungers. And with that, we shall go to Stars and Wishes.
What have we done?
Bad things, terrible things, awful things.
If we'd have known what we could have done to avoid this happening, maybe we should
Not watched as many tapes.
Yeah. Apparently watching all the tapes is what's done this. I think we're the problem.
Ooh,
Oh, poor Lucy. Jesus Christ, she had a bit of a time. Fucking hell.
Yeah, great session, everyone.
10 out of 10.
I've written down a few things, and I think they mostly form wishes. I think there's something that we overlooked when we answered the question, which is, the stag emblem, if it is a ward against demonic possession, what's it doing on your dad's grave is a very interesting question to consider. The Great Hungers, I don't know if that sounds very good. I did say at the start of this campaign that I don't know anything about public access, but I do know what the Whately camera is, and I own it now, so that's fun. And Jason, this is whether this is intentional or not, but Dolores in a little sailor costume just makes me think of Mother Boy from Arrested Development. But yeah, I really love where this is going. I feel like the whatever is bubbling away in the kind of background is just ramping up in scale, and like it's now no longer of this world, and it just feels cosmic, and it just feels like totally detached from what we do. And I've never felt less well equipped to deal with anything, so that's exciting. But other than that, I had a really good time, honestly.
I couldn't agree more. Stars in particular, I wrote a lot down. Joey's Odyssey, TV Odyssey Discovery, was heartbreaking. And I also think it's, pretty true to life of how a lot of kids remember pretty traumatic moments. It's the parts sort of either side, and that sort of description of what TV Odyssey was, which was pretty horrific. The anguished cries and the static, these like rows of witches being nothing in comparison to what was happening with Joey at the time. Like that was just lovely, like comparison there. And Wren, your key of the child as well, for Leon. I think I understand a little bit more about what is happening there as well. And again, that is it's very difficult to talk about, I feel like sometimes, but you've put it into art and you've made it feel quite accessible, and I really, really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm excited to see more about Leon's life. I'm really excited to learn more about Leon in general. stars, Jason, stars for teeing up the shoe and the string and it all being connected to the labyrinth and the under the house. I really, this is going to sound strange. My wish is that we get to explore Rodenbecker Street more, because I think there's so much in that house that apparently we don't know about as our conditions begin to unlock stuff. And I sort of wish I hope we see the big man continue to be the creepy little he who wanders into kitchens more. If this is the end of him, then I wonder what happens to this game. If this happens, then how does this move work? And
you can still do the fathomless well. It's just,
you can still do the fathom. Okay, all right. It's just bad. Okay, great. Yeah. My stars, my wishes. I think you guys are brilliant. Continue to be so, please.
Stars for me. I really enjoyed the nostalgic move with Leon and Nina, just like that little opening up in the cemetery. I think was good for both of them. I like it when the characters get a chance to talk a bit outside of terror. JJ, the little tete-a-tetes you keep having with Chef Hanscom. Every time Hanscom is here, it's like, oh god, it's gonna be great. You nail it every time, though. It's always fun to watch. Which is, I kind of have like a sadistic desire to have JJ keep getting into this kind of trouble. But I don't want you to end up in jail permanently. So there's that. Jason, there were so many callbacks to everything that we did in previous episodes. And I know that the game is built this way, but it's the things that you choose to call back to, I think I always find really interesting. And it's never, sometimes it is what I expected, sometimes it isn't. I don't even know. The string thing honestly threw me. It threw me so hard. And I was just like, oh no. Thank you for prompting us to continue with that. Oh no. No, this is great. I'm having a great time as always.
Yeah, fantastic session. It felt so like mid-season finale, like kind of vibes, which I loved. It felt like we were reaching like a climax to something, even though we're not, but or in a sense we are, but not, we're not done by any means. So it's really great. Loved all of the keys. The key narrations were fantastic. Really loved the Lunaria narrations. Like that was like, I've done affirmations before, maybe like 4 or 5 other times, and that was such a cool version of it. Like it was just so strange, and I was having a lot of fun, like sort of breaking the fourth wall with it, like interacting with the latchkey scenes as well, and kind of turning the camera on them. I thought that was really great fun. It's connected to my wish, which is the Odyssey clue you're getting from the astral or the Lunaria tape. This Odyssey clue feels like a really pivotal one. Like it feels like a really, really important one. And I think it can probably come from not just the tape, but also probably from what was happening in the tunnels, because you were all on the tape, right? So I think like maybe it's the Whately camera, or Mr. Whately's camera, we're calling it here. Maybe it's the existence of Mr. Whately, whatever the hell that was in the alcove. Maybe it's something to do with the fact that we now see that these weird insects are in the tunnels. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe it's something about the astral plane. But whatever it is, I'm looking forward to like defining it on our break, because it feels like a really important Odyssey clue. It feels like the hinge Odyssey clue, whatever it is. So that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm very excited for the next sessions, because now we're in Great Hunger territory, so the game changes a little bit. I do hope that we get to see Janie Meatpackers some more. I hope we get to there's several little threads I want to keep pulling on. I hope we get to follow up on this situation with JJ and the sheriff and the murder and all of that. Like, I don't want to let that slide away. I don't think it will, but I just, it's a wish for sure.
I'm never clearing under suspicion.
No, I don't think so. I think it's permanent. No, just terrific. Just really terrific fun. I'm so creeped out by this, and I love it. So yeah, just a good time. I think that's all I got.
I want to blame Jason for Tammy Lou Halfmouth, but I remember that's on me. That one.
It was good. I think I've thought about it every day since we've done that. Like, I've thought about her smiling and a literal half of her teeth missing. Like
you can't blame Jason for firing the gun that you gave him the ammo for.
Exactly
it was so horrible.
Chekhov's half mouth.
Oh, not a star or wish, but I'm really happy that my mouth or my throat clicking noise had the right effect. I was like, okay, this is an old faithful mouth noise. I'm gonna see if it works here. So I was really happy with that. But yeah, good time.